The tuning choices for the Monolini and the Monolina are exactly the same. So I'm going to demonstrate today on the Monolina the different tunings. There are 5 different tunings in the FEELTONE monochord family. If you haven't already, go to this page on the We Play Well Together website where you can see comparison videos for all 5 of the tunings for the Monolini, the little one, and the Monolina, which is the mid-size monochord. So I recommend you play all of those different videos. And then maybe listen a second time and close your eyes and listen to how your body responds to those different tunings. And then if you're a vocalist and you plan to chant, sing kirtan, or improvise with the instrument, I would recommend that you vocalize over those different recordings to see which tuning is good for your voice. Now sometimes it's hard to choose listening because they all sound beautiful. So here are a few different tips for each of the tunings to help you decide. The higher tunings, the C and the A instruments, have steel strings on top and then what we call braided strings on the bottom. These are wrapped with a copper coil, so they're a little bit thicker. So the A and the C have these really thin steel strings that are silver, and the C instrument is the highest of the FEELTONE family. What I like about the C is that it's really delicate. It's really easy to play. You can have a super soft touch and make a sound because it doesn't take hardly any pressure to activate these strings. It also has quite a bit of sparkle. It is ethereal. So some people really want the higher sounds. And if you have a lot of lower tones in your instrument collection, you may want to have a higher instrument to balance that out. And some people simply like the quality of these higher, sparkly sounds. I am a soprano, and so I also like singing with this instrument because it's high, like my singing voice. Also lovely playing out in the room. Some of the higher instruments, we hear them a bit more in a space. So for a sound bath or a sound journey, one of the higher instruments may be more what you're looking for. So all of the FEELTONE monochords are also meant to be placed on the body. This one is on a U stand, but you can take it off the stand and place it on the body. And you notice it has this wonderful boat shape on the bottom, which allows it to rock on any body. And that is a wonderful design of FEELTONE. Some of the other monochords might have this opposite shape, and that isn't really as good for as many different kinds of bodies. Whereas this one can be flat or curvy, and like a boat, it will just kind of ride the waves of the physical body. So you place this monochord on the body and you strum it, and the receiver can feel the tone. They physically can feel the sympathetic vibrations in their physical body. It's a palpable feeling sense. However, with the higher instruments, it's much more subtle. With the C on the physical body, you will feel some physical vibrations, but it will be very, very gentle, very subtle. So for some people, they like to have more of the physical vibrations. So if you're doing sound massage or body work, you might want to focus on one of the lower instruments that has more physical sensation, whereas this one is really light and really gentle. Not a whole lot of physical sensation. So then we have the 5 accent notes, and on this one it is tuned to a major pentatonic scale. So the next tuning we have is A. A also has the thinner steel strings on top, but it's a little bit lower than the C. This is the C, this is the A. So the A we also recommend for vocalists, particularly for those who chant kirtan. This A note is in a nice, easeful vocal range for many people. Om, Om Bhuva Svaha, Om Bhuva Svaha. So here on this one, you can hear I have it tuned to the minor pentatonic. So with the A, you're still not going to get a whole lot of physical sensation when you place this on the body. It's still going to be pretty subtle, but it's going to sound really beautiful in the room, really resonant for group events, and also in a nice, easeful lower range for an alto singing voice. So now we move down to G. So as I said before, C and A have steel strings on top. G, F, and D are all braided strings. There are still different thicknesses of the strings, but they all have a thicker quality. Even the higher ones are thicker than they are on the other instruments. And starting with the G, F, and the D all get progressively more intense physically. That means that when you place this on the physical body, you're going to feel more palpable physical vibration. It doesn't mean that there's more vibration, it just means that there's more sympathetic resonance with your physical body. So it's more intense. The G then is the highest of the lower models. The G has a wonderful warm quality, and this is a great choice for those who want to both play for groups like sound baths or sound meditation, but also want to do one-on-one work or sound massage where you're doing more physical work with the one-on-one sessions, playing the Monolina on the body, or the Monolini. This one has the accent notes tuned to the minor pentatonic scale. The G is also a note that's very harmonious with the C scale. So for example, if you have a C bowl set or play regularly with other instruments that are in C, then the G is the 5th of the C, so the G fits in really nicely. Now here we go a bit lower to the F. The F and the G are pretty close to each other. They're just one whole step away. So the F and the G are both good choices for people who want to play in a group setting as well as getting the more intense physical vibrations for one-on-one sound massage. And remember, it's also about your personal taste and what other instruments that you have. So this one I have tuned to the major pentatonic scale for the accent notes. And finally, we come to the D, which is the lowest tuning currently in the FEELTONE series. Now, while the F and the G are close to each other, the D is quite a bit lower. It really has a different quality. It's very earthy, grounding, very masculine in tone. And this is going to be the most intensive with the physical vibrations. When you play this instrument on the body, it rumbles through you. And for some people, it can be really intense. So actually, when you're playing this on a body, you need to play it really, really gently, unless it's someone who wants a lot of stimulation. So that can be a plus for some of the middle instruments where you can play them a little bit harder and they're not as intense. This one is really intense physically. It isn't as loud in the room. Doesn't mean that you can't use it for group events, but it is not going to ring out in the room the way that the higher instruments will. So we sometimes recommend this instrument for body workers, for people who work with the physical body, or for depth psychologists, people who are doing some deep internal work. These low tones can be really soothing, and they can help us to go deep into our unconscious. This can also be a good choice if you have a lot of higher instruments. So if you have a big crystal bowl collection, a lot of high bells, and you need something low to offer the grounding, this might be the instrument for you. This one is tuned to the minor pentatonic scale. Now, although there are only 5 tunings to choose from, each of the Monolinis and the Monolinas can be tuned up 2 half steps or down 2 half steps. So, for example, a C could be tuned to a C sharp or a D, or tuned down to a B or a B flat. So if you go up beyond a couple of half steps, the strings will be so tight they will break. And if you go below a couple of half steps, the strings become so slack that they're no longer resonant. They're kind of like, and they don't sound very good. So you have to keep it within that range. But between then, the 5 different tunings, you could have any note. So for example, FEELTONE doesn't make a monochord in a B or an E. But I have a B and an E in my collection because I take a C and I tune it down to a B. And then I also have a D and I tune it up to the E. So you can have even a sharp note or a flat note if that is in alignment or fits well with your other instruments. Another factor in choosing your monochord may be your other instruments. So if you play crystal singing bowls or gongs or handpan, and you already have kind of a tonal center for your collection of instruments, you might want to purchase a monochord that will be in tune with those other instruments. What's great about the monochord is you can tune it up or down a little bit. So whether you have instruments that are in 440 hertz or 432 hertz or any alternate tuning, you can adjust the monochord. It's totally adjustable. Even if you have a bowl that's like slightly sharp or slightly flat, you can custom tune that monochord to match that bowl. Now you can't match every instrument, so we're talking about the root of your system. So perhaps you have a bowl set, but you have one bowl that serves as the root, as the tonic of your other sounds. You might want to match the monochord to that, or you might want the monochord to be in harmony with your bowl set. So for example, say you have a C bowl set, you don't necessarily have to have a C monochord, but you might want maybe an E or a G monochord, because if you had a B monochord, it would be dissonant with that C bowl. You want it to be harmonious. And this also means that you can do things like take the C, the high C, and then tune it to a D if you want a high D. And inversely, on this low D, you could tune it down to a C and have a low C. Then we have the larger instruments, the concert monochord line, which are tunable to different tunings but tend to have a lower sound. If after watching this video you're still not sure and you need specific help, you are welcome to reach out and book a one-on-one session with us, and we do a kind of coaching call where we ask you questions about your specific setup and your needs, and then make a recommendation based on what you say. Sometimes it helps to talk it out with someone because the solution might not be clear. So finally, if you're looking for a reason to buy a FEELTONE product, you should know that FEELTONE has been in business for over 40 years. They have really become the go-to for sound meditation monochords. And while there are many monochords out there, these are so beautiful and reliable. They can be drop shipped to you from Germany within a week. And you also get the We Play Well Together family. We have a free Monochord Monday meetup that has been meeting for years now and still going strong. A huge content library of free videos when you purchase your instrument. And we also have intensive trainings, both online and offline, ways to deepen your practice and your knowledge.